This is the heart demon core made from the plutonium and gallium of an atomic bomb. If the demon core reaches its limit state, an uncontrolled chain reaction will occur. To avoid pushing the demon core to the limit, Slotin has placed a screwdriver between the two hemispheres that creates a small gap that acts as a safety release valve that allows the neutron to escape. Although it had been done many times, but one day he accidentally slipped his hand and the two hemispheres immediately collapsed. A blue light flashed across the room, and the core reached a supercritical state, emitting a huge stream of neutron radiation in about half a second. Slotin passed away after 9 days of radiation poisoning. 8 others were exposed, some of whom later died of cancer and leukemia.
The jets of water that are created when a person jumps into the water can propel a ball very high, which creates an interesting effect, and these jets of water are called the Worthington Jets. An effect that's created when an object falls to the surface of a liquid. We can see that water, because of inertia, can't react in time to the falling object, so a cavity of long, narrow air will be formed very quickly. Water will flow into the cavity from the sides and the bottom. The water, when moving in at a fast rate, will push a little water from the bottom up to the surface. The height of the jet, which will depend on the surface tension of the fluid, the weight, the velocity, and the angle of inclination of the object when falling.
Have you ever wondered what the length of a second is?
Previously, scientists relied on the speed of the Earth's rotation to determine this quantity. That is, the Earth rotates.
A cycle is a day of 20 hours and 4 hours, and an hour is 60 minutes, and we get the number of seconds until the World Conference on Weights and Measures in 1967 decided that there needed to be a more standardized way of measuring a clock second. And scientists chose the cesium atom. According to scientists, every 9 billion times,
the energy state of the emitted cesium atom takes 1 second or simply 1 second. The cesium atom switches between the two energy states more than 9 billion times, and thus the atomic clock comes into being. If the best mechanical clock has an error of about 4 to 6 seconds in a day, and the universal clock has an error of about 2 seconds in 10 days, then the atomic clock has an error of about 2 seconds. The error rate can be 1 second in a billion years.
You've probably seen the movie Transformers: Dark of the Moon, right? Have you ever wondered why, when we look at the moon, we see images that resemble trees? And the fact that standing on Earth, we can only see one side of the moon. Because it takes about 29 days for the moon to make a complete orbit around the Earth, which is about the time it takes for the moon to rotate. Because the moon's rotation and orbit take about the same amount of time, we always see the same side of the moon, no matter when we look at it. If the moon doesn't rotate on its axis, or if its rotation is faster or slower than its speed as it orbits the Earth, we'll be able to see it all. Both the surface of the moon and for the unobserved surface of the Earth, many people use the term dark side of the moon to describe it. But that term is still not accurate, because just like the Earth, anywhere on the moon, there is night and day.
Airplanes that fly faster than the speed of sound generate sonic booms. Under certain conditions, such as specific humidity, temperature, and altitude, they can also produce a visible white cone-shaped cloud trailing behind them. This cloud forms when water vapor in the air rapidly condenses as it encounters a high-pressure zone created by the plane. Since the pressure in this cone is much higher than the vapor pressure of water, the vapor condenses momentarily. Once the high-pressure area moves on, the pressure drops again, and the water vapor quickly evaporates. As a result, the cloud is only visible briefly and travels with the plane. It appears slightly behind the aircraft's nose due to the short delay between condensation and evaporation.